Okay, we are officially live. Good morning,
Good morning.
good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are.
We will pretend we have not been talking for 10 minutes already.
Yeah, we've talked. Well, the stream is only going to be like 5 minutes long because we've covered everything. Do you have coffee? Do you have tea? Are you
I just have water right now, but I mean, it's the thing about like in my background having been Mormon, I'm not now, but like you don't drink coffee.
Yeah.
So it's like not a habit of mine on a normal day. I will have to like remember like, oh yeah, I could get like a nice drink. It's not just what I do automatically.
Well, cool. I enjoy your water. I'm going to enjoy my cup of coffee. If all of you are hopping in here, what drinks you have? I've got Allison from Alison Talks Books, a fellow booktuber. So, yeah, how are you? And how'd you start Booktube?
I am, well, for the first part of that, but I started Booktube a long time ago, actually, when I was still in college, and it was on a different account. And I, at that point, just kind of wanted to talk to people about books and find people who cared about the same things, even if I wasn't surrounded by them in real life. But I got busy, and honestly, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know how to video edit or do anything like that. So that makes a difference in visibility. And then I just sort of let go of it for a few years, and I saw that tripod in the corner after a while, and I was like, oh, I could try to do that again. So I tried again like 7 months ago, and it's gone really well the second time.
I love it. Yeah,
8 p.m. Wow.
I had a channel beforehand. A lot of stupid short films. High school, college. If that was still, I'm thankful Google took it down. Because I think, copyright and everything, but if it's still around, it'd be really cringe to see that.
I feel like people would have to pay me to see my old channel at this point.
I would definitely, if it was still attached, I'd make it just, members only kind of thing.
Yeah.
Pay a Patreon to just look at old me.
To look at the cringe, yeah. It's definitely not the same stuff.
It's crazy. My wife and I were talking about that, how just even, because we've been together 8 years, married almost 2, but just, when you're in your mid-20s, and then now I'm like in my 30s, it may not seem like a big gap, but it is. And you look back at your 25-year-old self, it's like, what? What
was he doing? Yeah.
Yeah. And they're a very awesome person.
Thanks, Chaz.
On here. Yes. We have awesome people from India, 12 a.m. here. Wow. Well, good evening to you, and hello. A pint of ale is my drink. 6 p.m. for me. I love it.
Yeah, we're at 10 a.m. here.
10 a.m. coffee and water. And so you got Booktube going. When did you become a reader?
A reader? Oh, that started young. Like I was burning through books in elementary school. Yeah, I mean, I got into reading with the same books that I feel like everyone in my generation got into reading with, like the Harry Potter books, Wrinkle in Time, those type of things that were really common. And then when I was a teenager, it was obviously the Twilight books and the Hunger Games books and the Divergent books. But I also got into classics reading as a teenager. So it was either I was reading like Twilight or like War and Peace, and there was no really in between at that point. And definitely with the explosion of content on the internet, I feel like I was introduced to a lot more of a variety as an adult. So I read very widely.
Yeah, that's great. I don't think I was reading in high school, aside from the stuff you had to read. And growing up, I think it was Goosebumps and it's like a dog book, Hank the Cow Dog. I don't know if you're familiar.
I don't think I know that one, actually.
Yeah, that's an old one, but yeah. And then here we are, and it's so cool that Booktube has it's so get all these different recommendations, get all these top 10 lists. Yeah, it can be overbearing sometimes, but you're getting great recommendations. You're getting new books on your radar.
You know, what's so funny about those top 10 lists is I have read so much throughout my life, and I feel underqualified to make a top 10 list.
Same.
Like, Like, I mean, I know they're just like silly. You could put whatever you want on there, but every time I think of making a top 10 list, I'm like, but I don't know that that's like the top 10 of anything. I've only read so much, even if I'm a constant reader. So I tend to not make those very often.
Yeah, I did a stream a couple days ago. I still haven't made one officially. I have, 10 books I want to read before I die. I have
That's a good one.
those kind of lists, but I've read, maybe over 50 something books like as an adult that I can recall and talk about, but to rank, even within my own top 10, I don't think I'd be qualified yet. How would you?
Yeah.
I mean, it's arbitrary.
It is.
Like the rank. How do you rank? Do you like the star system? Do you like the let's?
No, in fact, I personally just, if I talk about a book, I try to avoid giving it a star rating. I'd rather just talk about what the book does, and I can talk about what I like and what I don't like about it. But I don't know. I think it just sort of gets rid of the conversation when you're like, oh, 3 stars, done, package it away.
Yeah.
So I don't generally do that. But I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I don't find it very interesting to rely on that type of ranking system too much.
It does become rigid when you apply numbers to something, like a Rotten Tomatoes thing for a movie or show, or star rating for books. I like what you said, how it could potentially just end the conversation right there. I feel like books, even when you're done reading them, you don't stop thinking about them. You don't stop talking about them. And that's an important thing, because you may return to a book and maybe your rating or thoughts on it change, good or bad, and then that conversation changes.
And it just means different things to different people. So I mean, I think I did a video on this months ago, and I think I titled it something like "Star Ratings Break How We Talk About Books." But half the conversation was just like, when I say 3 stars, it doesn't mean the same thing as someone else anyway. So it's better for us to sort of just use our words and talk about them, in my opinion. A lot of people in the comments in that video were like, they wish that Goodreads and the reading rating websites had like everyone versus critics, kind of like the movie ones do.
Yeah.
And that would be cool. But I mean, I don't even know if that would completely fix it, but I think that that's an interesting idea for sure.
That is a really interesting idea, because when I go to Rotten Tomatoes, which I now don't anymore, I would go straight to the audience, because that's a more general view rather than a skewed journalistic view.
But I think having both is just information. It's just, I don't know.
Well, it's good to have both, I think. I mean, so you can gauge if that's the type of person you are, to look at reviews before you do something, like before you watch or read something. I think it's good to have a variety of opinions, because if the critics love something and it's at 100%, but if the audience says it's 40%,
there's something to think about there.
What were favorite books growing up that weren't so mainstream? What about you? You got that? It's Harry Potter.
I feel like when you get into reading, especially when people are trying to get you into reading as a kid, a lot of the stuff that they give you is fairly mainstream. I mean, this is mainstream, but I was in love with the Anna Green Gables books, which were at least old when I was a kid, because the first one was published in 1906, and I would read a lot of the other books by that author, and those ones were less mainstream. Like, she has like a set of Emily books that I really liked. But no, as a kid, I feel like a lot of the stuff you read are things that are like classics or people know about or really popular, and you talk about with other people. And I think that's actually part of it. I think it's easier to get a kid into reading if you suggest a book for them that they can then talk to other people about. So wish I had a better answer.
Yeah, I don't really either. I mean, Goosebumps, but I don't really recall favorites when I look at my childhood, because I was playing video games, playing lightsabers, basketball.
I liked the GameCube. I liked Monkey Ball. as a
Okay.
kid.
I love that. That's that's great. That's a deep cut right there. Were you a big Mario person?
A little bit. I mean, like the Mario Kart throughout
Yeah.
the years for sure, a little bit.
Do you still game at all?
When I have time, I feel like I've sort of prioritized reading and starting a YouTube channel over gaming at the moment because there's only so many hobby hours in a day.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've really enjoyed some video games. I like the RPG type ones. Like I like the Witcher ones when I played them.
Okay.
But I don't game all the time.
That's one of my favorite games of all time. Really like your page, Allison, and how you talk about books and authors.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yes, you have The Stand in that list. Currently reading the same. It gets a bit overwhelming, but oh yeah, I do have The Stand on my top in my 10 books I want to read before I die.
It's a good one. I haven't read it, but I know that's a good one to put there. A lot of people like it.
I really like the post-apocalyptic vibe, but I've only read, I think, one. That's The Road.
I read that was actually required reading when I was in high school.
Really?
Yeah.
I discovered it in college, and
yeah. I mean, I think it was one of those it was probably one of those AP classes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had to read it in 11th grade, I think. But I haven't read it since.
Do you think it'd be? Do you have much memory of it?
I remember just the writing style of Cormac McCarthy and just kind of how unorthodox it sort of was. And then I remember some of the gritty scenes. I don't remember everything. And that's kind of like the father-son relationship. I remember that too. But no, it's been a while at this point.
Yeah. Okay, you recently said you'd like to read shorter books. Strongly recommend The Fireborn Blade by Charlotte Bond. So much packed into 160 pages. The sequel is excellent as well. Okay, neat.
That's cool.
Let's talk about book length. What do you lean in toward books? Do you approach big books like, oh my gosh, I'll wait for that later, or are you jumping at shorter books? What do you think?
I mean, the thing with me is I generally have more than one going on at a time. So starting a big book feels a little bit less intimidating because unlike what you're going through right now, if I take a while to finish a big book, I'll have little things going at the same time. But that's I told you before we started that part of that is because I read nonfiction and fiction at the same time, which is really helpful. But no, I don't think they intimidate me because I don't feel locked in, if that makes sense.
That's nice. Yeah. I don't know. I think when you read different books at the same time, I think it is good to read different genres or different or just different stories, because if you're reading a bunch of fantasy books, if you can do it, great, but for me, I have to have one fantasy world to focus on because I don't want to deal with a different fantasy world and a different magic system and at the same time. I don't want to read two Westerns when I'm reading a Western right now. I'd want to read something. I'd probably read a fantasy book and a Western at the same time. That way I can separate.
I 100% agree. I don't ever have two fantasy books going at the same time or something like that.
What are some of your favorite fantasy books?
My favorite fantasy books? Oh my, that's an interesting question. You know what? I think I actually recommended this to you at some point because I thought you would like it, but let me grab it.
Yeah. Zelda. I love Zelda.
Just not to talk about the same things all the time. This is somewhat popular for sure. It's not unheard of, but I really enjoyed this author who wrote the Gollum and the Jinny. It's a low fantasy. It has a lot of cultural background set in New York City at the turn of the 18 to 1900s. It's really good. So this one I really liked. I like the high fantasy creating your own world books a lot too. I've read most of the popular ones, obviously Lord of the Rings, but also the newer ones like the Brandon Sanderson ones. But sometimes I just really enjoy the the cultural depth that you can find in some of the fantasy books that are set in our world. So
Yeah.
I really like this one.
I haven't dove into that yet, where it blends, like, I mean, I guess Stephen King, but he like barely
he does a little bit.
But like that seems very much like cool, set in our world, fantasy ish. I like that. That's fun. Witcher games, never enough time for the hobbies. Alison, I can relate. Yep.
Yeah.
Gotta balance your hobbies.
Well, I'm also a huge board gamer, which takes more time out of video games.
What kind of board games?
Oh, I have downstairs. I have like more than 200 in my house. Like, we are board gamers in this house, and every single Sunday it's like 12 hours of board games. So that definitely takes all the video game time away after books and Booktube and everything else.
I know it's not a board game per se, but have you played Dungeons and Dragons?
I have, yes.
Do you have any opinions on it? Any thoughts?
I like Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
I think the hardest thing for me is because, like, I'm a board gamer first, and then I like Dungeons and Dragons second, and Dungeons and Dragons is just always a huge time commitment whenever you sign up for a campaign. That's been the hard part for me, but I've enjoyed it every time I've done it, and I've played lots of campaigns since I was a teenager.
Okay, yeah. Cool. Yeah, it's definitely like top. I think it's second to reading for me. It's so great. I love it.
I could see that. I could totally see you being like a storyteller in that setting.
And the fun thing is, what I've learned is, I guess a lot of people think D&D is the DM presenting the story and telling the story, but it's so much more than that. It's collaborative. But like now with what I'm doing is I'm just not, I know the world, the people in it, but hey, folks, players, what do you want to do? And then they tell the story because we're reacting to each other. And then the story just kind of blossoms from that. And then I get to be surprised. And it's,
I prefer that because you're not streamlined into one outcome.
Exactly. And then you've got this effect where it's like, oh, if they go left, they still find the ogre. If they go right, they still find the ogre. And I don't like that. If they go left, they'll go somewhere different. If they go right, somewhere different. I'm so thankful for that hobby. It's changed my life. And it's also helped me look at books differently too, and appreciate reading and stories as well. So
makes sense for sure.
Yeah. Now, what kind of what are like some of your favorite books of all time, and then like some of your books that you don't like at all? Or maybe even
favorite books of all time. Wow, this is a big one.
Hated.
I'm so bad at deciding a favorite book of all time because my favorite book of all time is usually what I'm reading in that moment.
Same.
Like I'm just like, oh, this is great. And if it's not, like, sometimes I have a fun time analyzing why a book isn't great, so I'm enjoying myself there too. I mean, as far as like influential, like I said, like the Ellen Montgomery stuff, the Anna Green Gable classic sort of children's stories were huge for me getting into reading. And books I don't like, there are some really bad books that are being published right now that I always choose to try the ones that are super hyped up, and sometimes that does not go well. I have one over here for sure that was really bad. What was it? What is it called? I have to have it right here.
Okay, let's see it. And I did not like
okay, there was a case to make fun of me for even trying this book. But yeah, this is one of those, I think, like, I guess you could call it a dark romantasy books that really ended up being terrible. You know, it's at Barnes & Noble. There's a stack of like 60 of them. Yeah. And you're like, it can't be that bad if that many people are into it. But this one was really that bad. The writing is... I feel bad because obviously someone took the time to write this book. But yeah, the writing in this is just not it. This is not good.
What about
But it was so bad that I was laughing the entire time. So that's almost an enjoyment.
Have you read Divine Rivals? Uh-oh, you're muted. Oh no. Oh no, now I have to talk by myself. I'm not good at this. Oh boy. Well, hey, let's talk about Mistborn real quick, because that's my answer for a hyped up book. I didn't enjoy it. We'll figure this technical difficulty out. How's everyone doing today? I had a long night of editing, work, so I'm kind of not. I'm still kind of waking up. It's a beautiful day out, but man, long night working. But anyways, Mistborn wasn't my cup of tea, and it's funny. I look at everywhere on YouTube. I try to search for it, try to find other reviews that may be not as praising of it. I only found a handful, and I don't know. I didn't connect with that kind of book. So yeah. Oh, okay. Here she is.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
You can't see me. I can see me.
I can't see you. Okay, let's.
Oh no.
Should we remove you?
Yeah, do that. I can see me.
We got it.
Oh, you can see me now?
I can see you and I can hear you.
Can you see me? Yes.
Okay.
I think I just nudged the microphone. That was on me.
That's okay. So I was talking about Mistborn. I'll reiterate my thoughts later, but so tell me about the writing. What made the writing so,
Oh, this one, there's just no internal logic that makes any sense. It's one of those where like the main character acts really like there's no consequences in life in every situation. It never catches up to her. She acts like a different person with every person she's around. Just one of those really books that, like those books that blow up that have no internal logic and make no sense, but somehow there's 80 copies at the local bookstore on a table. And I like romantasy sometimes, so I'm always willing to give it a shot. But yeah, that one was not it.
Yeah, it's tough. When my wife and I watch like older TV shows or older movies, it's like it's so nice to see consequence and friction, but it's not solved within the next scene. Things get solved way too freaking early, too easy, like the problem didn't even matter. And I think that's an issue with just writing in general. I feel like characters are not struggling enough, and that struggle is just solved way too fast, and that doesn't let me care for the characters, doesn't let me trust the writer or the journey I'm being set forth on. So that's my opinion on all that. Have you read Divine Rivals? No,
I have not. I have it over there.
I love it.
Do you like that book?
No, I haven't touched that. It was my wife that read it.
Oh, okay.
She's not the biggest romantasy lover. But you mentioned how you were laughing and enjoying that book that you told me about just now.
Does she have the same experience?
She's had the same exact experience. She just wanted to keep reading, and she said it was so bad, but it was so good in that.
Got it. Okay, good to know that's coming up.
With this,
it's so bad it's good experience.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what this was. Okay. That's definitely what this one was. Also, Gothicana. That was another one that kind of blew up. That it was like so bad that like I was writing notes about why it was so bad and having a good time that way. I don't like that to be my default way of reading. I don't go into something expecting to think it's terrible. But it does happen sometimes for sure. And you just got to enjoy the moment. Sometimes it's just bad and it's not like enjoyable enough to finish.
Sometimes it's so bad where you're like, okay, I don't want to waste my time with it.
Yeah.
I feel like I lean more toward that because I know what I like.
Yeah.
So sadly, I don't give things a fair shake as much, but there comes a time where it's like, it's okay to just read something fun, and maybe it's bad, but it's enjoyable. I think we need all that once in a while, because I feel like I'm leaning toward really deep stories that, you know, I might get exhausted by if I keep reading those, because I need some levity.
Yeah. I'm totally for the existence of reading for fun and people reading whatever they enjoy. I obviously like to get some depth out of books, and if you see book reviews on my channel, I'll usually choose to review the books now that I'm starting to review books that have a little bit more depth to them. But no, I mean, there's some really cringy books that I have absolutely just had a fun time with, like those Ice Planet Barbarian books that got really popular. I actually like those as far as like just having fun. And I think there's a space for just having fun with a book and also being someone who can read serious books and take them seriously. And you could be the same person and do both.
Yeah. And it's okay to do both, because I feel like it's easy to like get into that, you know, I only read literary fiction classics, so I have to drink my coffee black, and, you know, that kind of vibe where it's like, okay, calm down. You can read Dungeon Crawler Carl, and not to say that that's bad.
Oh no, I'm totally fine with that.
My wife loves the series. I think I'm done with that. I read the first book, audiobook, the second one, and I don't think it's for me. But
I had so much fun with the first several, like the first three maybe, but I haven't read one since, just because I kind of know what it's doing at this point, and it's fun and it's escapist, and it also does have some depth to it, so I don't ever want to like take all of that out. But like it's hard for me to finish a super long series as fast as some people do with like the hyped up series of the year. I'll generally like take breaks and go back to other things, and I'll probably eventually continue. I did enjoy it and I do like it, but there's just so many things to read.
So many things to read, so little time, and it's nice to be behind and approach books that the hype has died down. The algorithm isn't pushing it anymore, and I can read of my own accord without any outside noise. It's nice. But yeah, Dungeon Crawler Carl, I read Wheel of Time. It's a 14-book series, and I'm just tired of long series. So it's nice to read, you know, succinct, self-contained books. And yeah, Carl, book 8 is coming out in March. The hardcovers look beautiful. I'm going to buy them all for my wife, but I don't want to read another 8 to 10 book series right now.
That's the thing. You asked me earlier if I ever get intimidated by large books, and the answer to that is no, but I do get intimidated by large series. If I know that I have to read 15 books on something, sometimes that will be enough to keep me from going on that journey, unless it's really what I'm dedicating myself to. I really find it unpleasant to have like 10 series going at the same time.
Books are like food for the soul. I love a real quality home cooked meal, but sometimes, I mean, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. That is awesome. Yeah, I don't. It is tough with like modern, I guess, books coming out now and everything having to be a series, especially in the fantasy realm. But I get it in the fantasy realm because you have so much more to build. And I think that's great to hang out in that world and see the world build and come to, you know, shape around you. But I can't do another 14-book series. Maybe down the line, but
there's a lot to be said for the trilogy.
I love a good trilogy. I think that's like the perfect amount of book. It's so nice. It is so nice where you get everything. also you get everything in even just a standalone book. When an author is able to not waste any time, not pad for time, because we get that in TV shows where you have filler episodes. How many books are filler in all these, like, monumentous series? I don't know. I don't like having my time wasted, especially when it's like a big series and all that. There you go. As a Discworld fan, I struggle to find a series today as long. Yep. That's like,
you know what? That's actually one that I have a lot of interest to get into. There's very few. That's one of them where it's just like everyone who loves those books seems to be awesome and have great things to say about it. And I think I want to definitely do Discworld.
Because there's not a lot of weight to it. I mean, I'm sure there's depth, but there's probably not a lot of, like, from book to book to book. I think you can
hop around, I think. Yeah, that's definitely what I've gotten from people who love that. And I think that could be some fun escapist fiction for sure that I eventually do think I'll try. Board games.
Board game recommendations.
For beginners, Seven Wonders, any of the Clank games are really good for beginners. There are, let's see, what else is good? A lot of deck building games can be fun. Yeah, I would definitely look into like Seven Wonders type of games if you're. There's you can also look at the Dice Tower is a really popular YouTube channel for board games.
Okay.
Oh, Critter Kitchen. Critter Kitchen's a fun intro game for board gaming. It's like you're playing little animals and they're like different chefs, and they're oftentimes they're thematically based off like different real world like TV chefs, and you're competing to get ingredients and put dishes together. It's pretty fun. That's not too hard either.
Have you played the Stardew Valley board game?
No, I haven't, but I played Stardew Valley at one point.
Yeah, that's my wife and that's like all we did 1 week. And
that's fun.
I'd like to play the board game, see what it does. Does letdown only happen when you are aware of the hype? I love that. You go.
I think that's definitely part of it for sure. I've always thought that some of the books that get the most critiques publicly are ones that if you found them randomly on like Kindle Unlimited for free, you probably wouldn't complain. Like, even if you think of like the really popular romantasy books like A Court of Thorns and Roses, if you were like, this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling and it's free on Kindle Unlimited, you'd be like, oh, this is fine. But because they get really popular and blow up and become sort of like the best-selling thing in the store, there's a lot more to critique it for, only because of the status it is holding at that point.
Yeah, and it's funny with the whole bestseller, New York Times bestseller tag on it. I don't know what that means anymore.
I think it's just like it has to be in one single category, and it could mean that it didn't even sell that many copies, but I don't know the details.
If you're looking for a shorter standalone, you should check out A Gentleman in Moscow. I think you'd like it. What's the elevator pitch for that? Gentleman Moscow. Okay, neat. Oh, look at this. Joanna reads, hi, Thomas and Alison, just dropping by for a moment. Thank you for dropping by. She's great. I think I'll be doing a live stream with her later this month. Started reading Discworld when I was 17. Now I'm in my 40s. Read a couple of them and then was so excited to see there was publication order in the back. From there, I read them in order. Cool. Paul, do you think, can you jump around? Do you have to read them in publication order? Do you feel like it's a different reading experience? Yeah, let us know. Yay, looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it as well. That's going to be great. It's nice to talk to other booktubers, other book lovers. Okay, so what are your desert island books?
My desert island books.
and you could pick
I
3.
mean, to be very frank, I feel like if I was trying to survive on a desert island, you just bring the thickest one possible in case you need some like tinder for a fire.
So like Robert.
At some point, you're focusing on survival.
Okay, well, say how about all that stuff handed?
I'm just messing with you.
You have wood, you have tinder, you have all that stuff. You have food, but you're not able to leave the island for who knows how
I
long.
honestly would bring books like it's funny that I just had this right on my desk, but I would bring books like this that are just like this one's called The Madman's Library by Edward Brooke Hitching. And it's just one of those books that has a bunch of different strange things in it. This is about all of the strange things that have been published in history and a lot of the different weird things that have happened. And I think like books like this, where it's like you have a lot of topic change and you have like a lot of subsections and a lot of different things to explore, is what would keep me sane on a deserted island rather than just like my favorite novel ever. Because eventually you've read that novel 40 times. And the feeling of exploration and having a set of books like this, I think would be what I would actually prefer in that moment.
Okay. Neat.
What about you?
That's so hard because I don't read a lot of history and like nonfiction like you. Oh, it's fun. I asked that question, then I don't even know where I'd begin, because again, you talk about like a fiction book, a story, a self-contained story, and you just read it. Okay. And then you read it again, and then the 15th time, it's like, okay, how much more can I get from this? Because then it loses that beauty. I know a few folks who like all they read is like Harry Potter, like every year. I know a few folks who all they read is Lord of the Rings. I love them, but you gotta but say you're on a desert island, okay? Maybe Harry Potter is all you got. Great. Maybe Lord of the Rings is all you got. Great. Oh, shoot.
I mean, I would probably bring, if we're talking fiction, I definitely bring classics that have a lot that you could, like that have layers of depth to where if you read it on one level, you could read it on another level and then read it on another level.
Maybe
That's where I wouldn't bring the escapist fiction. I probably wouldn't bring Ice Planet Barbarians to the deserted island, because you would want a book that you could get more out of the more you read, and that would require it to be something
probably still bring
that was written that way.
The Last Unicorn. I don't know why it's such a short. Have you read that?
No, I haven't, but I should.
That's a book I'd recommend. That's like a book I freely recommend. I don't like to recommend Name of the Wind all the time, or Wheel of Time, all these other books. I think it's a short 300-page book, self-contained, fantasy. It's a nice little fairy tale, and the language is so ambiguous and metaphorical. It's poetic, it's lyrical, and I feel like you can reread it over and over and over again. And poetry,
you know what, there might be something to that. Maybe if there was 3, you would have one nostalgia book, one thick general knowledge book just for the fun of exploration, and a third one that's just like a really thick, dense, like fantasy, or not fantasy, like classic novel that you can read multiple layers. That might be a good balance.
That's a good point. I would like to bring like fiction in there. It'd have to be something like some historical book, because I do want to read history. I want to read like history on the Wild West, like the beginning of the American Wild West. It just fascinates me now. I really think the Western genre has become second to fantasy, and it might be up more now just because it's fascinating. But also, I want to read.
Did you watch the American Primeval show on Netflix?
No, I don't. What
you don't really watch TV?
I'm very choosy nowadays. American.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's just a Western. So I was
Okay.
wondering if you had watched it. It came out in the last year or two, I think.
Okay. I'll write it down. I want to read World War I and II as well, like history. That fascinates me. Maybe Civil War. My friend read a whole book on Grant. Took him 3 years to read because he's a slower reader than me. And yeah. I don't know. I haven't really touched it yet. History books.
Well, I got a degree, so that's probably half the reason why I've touched any history books.
Do you recommend any like history? Like say we're trying to read history for the first time. Like what books do you recommend? I mean, on
just people. Like learning more about. I've recommended before Genghis Khan and the Making of the Modern World. That one's like pretty accessible and it's kind of fun and it gives you a different view of the time period of the Mongols and kind of like the later medieval period. That's all really interesting. But honestly, I think more than just a specific book, it's knowing what you're interested in and doing like an exploration like project. Like if you know a particular part of history is interesting to you, just read several books on that.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with a self-help book on a deserted island? That's what you bring to keep the fire going at that point.
Yeah. You bring.
Not that I'm against them.
Yeah. You can jump around, but I love seeing the characters develop and how they interact with. Oh, this is about Discworld. How they interact with others from sub-series. Plus, it was nice to visit another part of the world and be excited for it. Very cool. Song of Ice and Fire is my island series. I need my daily dose of Westeros. I have yet to read that. Have you read that?
The Song of Ice and Fire? Yes, I have. I read. What
do you think?
I liked them. I mean, obviously, just like everyone else, it's kind of lame to get to the end and then never have it complete series, but that's okay. I still think that you can appreciate the quality of what you did get.
Lifelong house arrest in Moscow, 1922. He has to find meaning, purpose in the small things. Really, whoa, that does sound interesting. That's the Gentleman in Moscow. Very fun.
My stepdad read that book. I haven't yet, though. Okay. My parents have it.
Very cool. I really love the historical fiction Paths of Glory. Why does that sound so familiar? Oh, another historical fiction I keep getting recommended that I really want to read is is it Ken Follett? Pillars of Eternity, is that it? Are you familiar? Let me do a quick Google, guys. Pillars of the Earth. There it is. Pillars of Eternity, I think, is a video game. Pillars of the Earth is a historical fiction I really want to read. It's like about medieval times. Pillars of the Earth, yes. Oh my gosh, it looks right up my alley. I just wanted to pop in and say what's up. Can't stay, unfortunately, because of work.
Work always gets in the way of fun.
And yeah, it always gets in the way of live streams too. If I knew everyone's lunch break, I would go live then, but you can only do so much. The Saxon Stories, the Last Kingdom series, and an epic historical fiction series if you like medieval England, Viking times. Very cool.
I think that Viking fiction can be really fun, actually.
I have yet to read any. So what do you recommend?
You know what? And at the spur of the moment, I don't think I have a particular one to recommend. Those are ones that I've just downloaded as ebooks that you read for a few days, and I don't think I've ever read any huge Viking book. I probably should though, because I think that that's a really fun period to just kind of escape into for sure.
Found the entire Song of Ice and Fire in a charity shop for less than £20 years ago. I still need to get it. Chronic mood reader. Just need to get to it. Oh yeah. I don't know. It's so tough to get into that. And I'm taking a break from fantasy. It's nice to just take a break from other genres and give other genres the spotlight. What genre were you like all in on? I mean, you grew up kind of, so like, okay, what's your favorite genre? And then what's a genre that you haven't really tried that you want to try? For just a more broad, simpler question.
I am a person that has multiple passions. I would guess my favorite genre would be some sort of version of historical fiction, even if that ends up being something that has fantastical elements, that's fine. I do like that type of thing for sure, and always have. There was a period of time, because fantasy is so popular online in my early 20s, there was a period of time where I read all the popular fantasy books, or where I read some of the popular romantasy books, because that's just what everyone was talking about. But then I actually found your channel from your video of saying like you were tired of fantasy. I don't remember your title of that, but like you wanted to get into something else. And I was like, yeah, we should definitely be representing other genres as well. I also just like, I'm one genre that I like that I think is just kind of weird is I like reading nonfiction about reading. Like I like A History of Books by Alberto Mangel. I've talked about on my channel. I like it's very navel gazy and kind of like read like how to read a book, or like I said, the Madman's Library I have right here. Like I think that's kind of like a really fun thing to read about, and it obviously gives me stuff to talk about on my channel. As far as like genres that I can never fully get into, would definitely be just 2026 happening today contemporary romance. I have a really hard time with those. I'd rather read like a bodice ripper or a Regency romance, because if like the guy in the coffee shop is a jerk to the main character, why do I want to read a whole book about that? But if a duke is a jerk, well, at least he has like a title. At least it makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm just being silly.
No, I like that, Maxwell. That's a good follow up with like, I don't. It sounds horrible, but yeah, like I'm right there with you. Where when it comes to like books being released in the past 5 years, I tread lightly. I also, same thing with movies and TV shows. I don't jump on it. I feel like we're in this weird time where I think people writing, they're not really. I think they're divorced from reality in the sense that where's that human connection? Like, where's that thing that I'm looking for? It's just not there. It doesn't always have to be there in what I'm reading or watching, but something like romance. I want my romance in a different genre. Like, I don't want to read the genre of romance because I know what I'm getting myself into preemptively. I want to be surprised. Like, I think I mentioned in my last live stream, this is a romance. This is a love story. But it's not. Like, it's on the page, it's more of a love story than I think, books being written today that are under the romance section. What do you think of that? What do you think of romance within something else?
It's such a hard topic because I feel like when we have conversations online, we like to generalize, and that's definitely useful, actually. I'm not against generalization. It's useful because it gives like general trends and how people are feeling. But then there can definitely be like a standalone marketed mainly as romance book that ends up being amazing. So I think that just leaving both of those truths space to both exist is where I try to go with it. Like, I did a video with Chess is Hyperfixating 3 months ago that was like the romantasy books that we think are really good, because we see so many times like romantasy books kind of not being given the spotlight in that way. So I think that you just have to let both exist. But yeah, on average, if we were just going to go generalizations, I agree with you. I think that most romance is better when it is a subplot to another type of book.
Yeah. Joanna, Allison, have you read any Guy Gavriel Kay? historical fantasy with a bit of bodice ripping here and there.
I have not, but maybe I should.
Best historical fantasy book, in my opinion, is
Definite.
Definitol.
Oh, is there an L at the end of that?
I don't know if
Huh.
it's.
You know what? I've never heard of that one.
I've never heard of that. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norwell, best historical fantasy novel.
Susanna Clarke is a really good author. That's why, I mean, she's one of those authors that has a lot of hype and is in all the bookstores, but generally does perform pretty well.
I want something nostalgic to my own love story, and I don't see a lot of that. There's more depth to a romance if it happens amid a broader story with development outside that aspect.
Yes.
And that's me. That's where I like where romance isn't the story, it's a part of the story. And I know I'd be generalizing and just, shoving off a whole genre titled romance, but that's just how I approach my reading. Piranesi is also great by the same author, Susanna Clarke. That's another book I didn't like. That's my I didn't like it.
You didn't like it? Oh, I did like that one.
And tell me
I can see why someone might not like it. Well, I think it was very, it was, now I just feel like I'm being generic booktuber here, but it was definitely very atmospheric. And there was definitely a little bit of a mystery to it. And I liked the way that the actual prose was written. I liked the actual writing, if that makes sense. Sometimes you can appreciate a book for the actual way that it's written versus the plot. And I think that was one where I liked the plot, but I think I liked the writing even more.
That's the more I think about it, being now, I think 5 years removed from Name of the Wind. That's why I love that book so much, because of the writing. I don't really think about, I do think about the characters in the story here and there, but I think more about the writing and how that book made me feel. And that's why I hold that book up so high. Whereas Piranesi, I maybe the wrong time, for me to read it.
It's possible. It's also totally valid for you not to like a book everyone else tends to like. That's okay too.
But also I do like to shut things down when I realize, okay, that's not my cup of tea, I'm done. But then also, hey, let's just leave it be. I didn't like it then. Maybe I'll give it another try. And then if I really don't like it, then I don't like it. I like to kind of go both ways. Because there are books that I didn't finish. And maybe it's because my headspace wasn't in it. And I want to give that a try again. I think, to be fair, there's a difference between romance, which right now seems super spicy, love stories, which I find much better. Romance is happily ever after, whereas love story can go anywhere. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I haven't read many romance books, if at all, to know if. What do you think of that with your fair share of romance books and romantasy?
No, they're definitely not the top genre I read. I don't read them constantly, but I feel like there's a mix. Yeah. Some of them, I feel like people over-exaggerate how much spice is in some of them. Like to be completely honest, there isn't, even though you could dislike the actual romance story and how it's set up, and that's completely valid, there's not actually that much spice in A Court of Thorns and Roses. Fourth Wing has like a couple sex scenes at the end. So sometimes like those things get really exaggerated, but other ones that are like more of like just jumping on the trend, like this is ridiculous as far as how much like spice is in this one. Or there was another one I read, like Throne of the Fallen, I think, that was just like all spice. And I definitely agree with the whole idea of, if you want a story that is going to last and is going to be meaningful for people for a long time, you want the characters to have things that are important to them outside of the romance. Like any strong woman that exists that you actually like to follow in real life doesn't exist just to be like a prize for a man. She's doing something. She has a personality and she has a character that is consistent enough to be recognized from scene to scene, not just whatever self-insert thing you want to happen and from scene to scene. That's not good. So I do think that there are definitely a lot of books that are not the most well written right now. I think that probably applies to earlier times as well. It's just the complicated answer of yes, some of them legitimately do suck right now. Some of it is being exaggerated, and some of them are actually still good. But you have to go through them to find that out, and the process itself can be painful.
You have to go through them and figure out if that's something you like or don't like, and just compare and contrast to your tastes, because you don't know until you try. Because it's easy to, from my view, what I see are the hype and the videos, and the romantasy stuff, and the TikToks, and even the I don't know, these video essays of people bashing romantasy or praising romantasy, and that's the view I see of that genre, because I have yet to read that genre. And I love your point about just there has to be more to it than just the spice. There's more to a character than just this one aspect of them. And I think I see that in a lot of modern writing through my view of TV shows and movies. Characters are too simple and one-dimensional, that they just have one thing about them, and that's how they make their choices. That's how they live their life, through that one thing, whatever that is. I don't know. Characters are complex, man, and I want to see that. And I want to read that too. Oh gosh, I had one other thing that I wanted to say about what you said. Romantasy. I think from your perspective on, like, because you've clearly read Fourth Wing, correct? And
yes, I did read it. I thought it was one of those sort of like escapist, fun, you're not going to think about it a few years later reads for me. Like, I did not absolutely hate it because I wasn't reading it at the time with a fine-tooth comb. It was meant to just be silly. And if you leave it there, it's fine. Like, I think it's a little bit reactionary sometimes to over criticize something. I think the criticism comes from the fact that it's popular, and we wish that books that were of a higher literary quality had that amount of popularity. And I think that's just sort of getting out there with everyone and trying to convince them to read other books too, not so much just focusing on that all of the time.
Yeah. To your point on that, with what's actually being focused on, you say there's not much spice in a lot of these spice books, that are extremely popular.
Yeah, some of them are like crazy spicy, but some of like the most common examples, sometimes those ones don't have as much as people say they do. I think
it's also what's being pushed out there, what people are focusing on, and that's what surrounds, like, that's what the conversation's about. It's about just that one fixation of this one or two, spice scene in, Fourth Wing or whatever. Yeah. Oh boy. Is there other YouTubers you watch? What about you? I don't know.
I mean, I watch so many people who talk about books. Like, if there's a video that comes up about books, I definitely watch it. Who do I want to call out right now? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
As far as book reviews, is that for if you're looking for someone who does like things that are like historical, literary, that type of stuff, like the Bookish Texan is a good channel.
Bookish Texan.
I don't know if he's a former teacher or principal. I don't really remember what his background is, but he does a lot of book reviews. Like I said, I did a collaboration with Chessa's Hyperfixating. She does a lot. If you are interested in someone who talks about a lot of the romantasy adjacent things, she is going to be someone that you're going to like more if you are a little bit more critical, because she's definitely a little bit more of a critical reviewer of that space and of other spaces too. She reads widely. There's tons, but I don't know who to say right now.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know either. It's funny. Like, I'm on Booktube, but also that's not the content I mainly take in. Watch a lot of video game stuff, sports, exercise, mobility. So, I mean, the other YouTubers, I'd have to really think and get back to you on that. because I don't know what Thomas R. Howell do for a living. I film weddings. I film weddings for a living. I travel the nation and I document love stories. It's great. Love it.
Nice.
Have you looked into Pat Conroy? I haven't read anything yet from him, but I hear him mentioned alongside. Whoa, I like that because I've now fallen in love with Larry McMurtry and his writing. So we have now hit an hour. I would like to end on one two things. What do you got going on? What ideas do you have for videos? What are you excited to post? Any fun little projects?
I generally choose what I'm going to make the week of, to be completely honest. And I am trying to do the thing where I get ahead a little bit just so that it's more sustainable going forward. But I mean, I had this video a few weeks ago where it was like one of my least thought through videos, and it was kind of like a rant. And I was just like, I'm just tired of this whole online thing and having to sort of cater to what's popular and what people are watching. So at this point, I'm just going to do whatever I find interesting. Like I personally do find just reading and the history of reading really interesting. I'll probably do some of those videos. I'm going to start doing book reviews like every 3 or 4 videos just because I think it's good for them to exist, not because I expect everyone to click on them all the time. And then just the same things. I'll just continue doing commentary on sort of the bookish space because I think a lot of people like a space to talk about that. So specific topics, I'm not sure, but that's sort of the mix that I'm planning on having in the future.
Okay. I love it. I love it. Well, before we go, I'm going to ask one more question, but please go follow Alison. Her channel should be just, you click in the title and you find her. So go to her, subscribe, like it, do it all. She's great. And now the last question, recommend me a book, which I know you already did, but now that we're ending, recommend me a book. And the lovely folks in the chat. What's a book you can
I'm going to recommend you the same one I already recommended you because I think that like this is the one I thought of for you. Yeah. Not because you don't have to like it if you hate it. Say you hate it, right? But if you ever do get to it, I think that you would really enjoy a historical low fantasy set in New York City, bringing in 2 cultures. So, like 1900 New York City, there's a lot of humanity, there's a lot of culture, there's a lot of history in that time period, and bringing in mythological creatures like the golem and a Ginny is really fun. So I think you would like this because it's slow and atmospheric. You could just sit with characters a little bit, and I'm thinking of that for you more than just for anyone, but there's lots of books that do lots of things.
I appreciate that. And yeah, I guess we'll end there. I mean, I'm going to recommend you The Last Unicorn because I just think everyone should read it. But also, it's short. It's not going to take up your time. I think you can eat it up in a day or 2. But yeah, thank you.
I'll do that
for hanging out, chatting, talking books, and thank you to all of you who decided to hop in and join the chat. Guys have a wonderful Friday evening, afternoon, morning, and a wonderful weekend. Thank you. So
bye.
we're gonna wave awkwardly while